and, and get this thing kicked off tonight. So tonight we're gonna like demonstrate a little bit of a little bit of a like an opportunity night. So like if we were in person, right, we would all have the opportunity to kind of show up, bring a friend, show like be able to kind of show everybody what we do. Since we're 100% remote, we're gonna do it via Zoom. So do me a favor, just so kind of everybody can see, like, what state are you in physically, like right now? Like, where are you in the country, right? Because like, we're in Florida, close to the Tampa area, right? So North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, Louisiana, Arizona, South Carolina. So I mean, you'll see probably like a big pocket of people on on the East Coast, Texas, Florida, right? So all right, Madison, it's super close. So we kind of have a big pocket in the Southeast, but the truth is we're all over the country, like as an organization and as a company. So I'm gonna kick this off. I'm gonna get this new slideshow up, and then we'll get this thing up and running eventually. Here we go. Good Lord, Canva wants me to do all sorts of stuff. No, thank you, Canva. We'll do it this way. All right, now we'll share. So, guys, obviously, welcome to Primerica. So, tonight we're going to talk about Primerica run by Noah and Melissa McQueen. So, I want you guys to kind of think about that because, like, if you drove down Main Street, right, wherever your town is, you would probably see like a local State Farm agency, maybe some other type of insurance, right? It would say State Farm by Bob Jones. Well, this is Primerica by Noah and Melissa because we own the brokerage. Okay. It's just some basic Zoom etiquettes for stuff in the future, right? So be on time, cameras on if able, but always worst case scenario, just plug in, throw an AirPod in and be able to plug in and listen. All right. So a little bit about us. So Melissa and I, we've been together forever. We've been together for over 20 years. We married this year. This June will be our 20th wedding anniversary. So we've been together a long time. She's a hardcore Army spouse. We met before we were married. I was at West Point. We were there, and like she's endured a lot. And so part of the reason that I chose this business was my ability to work from home, to have 100% flexibility and be in control of my schedule. Because I had spent, probably 10 of our 20 years together away from her, away from the kids, and I didn't want that anymore. So I'm a West Point graduate. I spent my entire career in the Army as a helicopter pilot. I spent the majority of that time as a like inside of special operations. And I kind of say that to give you a little bit of my background because before I came into this business, guys, I had never sold anything. Nothing, right? I had no sales training. I had nothing. I had never done anything but be a soldier. And I just retired this year in March of 2025, like fully retired. And so, just a real quick glimpse into my timeline in Primerica. So, a little over 3 years in the business now. September, August of this year was my 3 year anniversary in the business. So, I started in August of 22 part-time. I was driving back and forth to McDill. We live in Riverview, Fishhawk area. And so I was like an hour there, hour plus back, and started part-time. And within about 6.5 months, ran fast enough, got all the licenses, and became a regional vice president. Right. And so I show you guys that to show you what's possible. I mean, average timeline in the business is probably somewhere around 18 months, 2 years. Fast is about 6 months. And in that same time, right, same year, we hit 100,000 in income inside that 12 years. Within 13 months, we hit our second diamond, which means we had hit 200,000. And then in March of 23, about 17 months into the business, we had hit 300,000, which meant full ownership of the business. And so that's when Primerica gave us full ownership of the brokerage. And that's available for anybody. Anybody that comes in and hits 300,000 in a rolling 12 months hits full ownership, right? So you get control of your business. And so that's just a real quick glance, real quick timeline, but really kind of the big important thing to take away from that is I have no background in this. I meet people all the time and like, wow, I've never, I don't know, I've never done anything like this before. Great, you're going to learn something. You're going to learn something new, amazing. You're going to expand your horizon, right? And and one of the biggest things, like as we kind of start talking about the business a little more, is guys, we are a huge company. The company is massive. This slide is actually a little bit old. There are over 160,000 licensed agents now across the entire United States, every US territory, and up in Canada. We're publicly traded, right? We've been in business, we've been doing this since 1977. And right now, we're sitting somewhere between 5.5 and 6 million people that have our life insurance. And over 3 million clients are investment clients with us. Something you won't see on here right now is that we control a little over $120 billion in client money between retirement accounts, annuities, college accounts for kids. I mean, you name it, right? And we're about to cross over having $1 trillion of life insurance in force. That's that's a huge number. Like if you got $1 trillion worth of anything hanging around, like that's a lot, right? And we've been public for 15 years now. The stock is up to about 270 a share. The company is worth about 9 billion. 9 billion, like with a B, right? We are a Fortune 1000 company, guys. And I mean, just look at some of the awards, right? Forbes 2022 for best in insurance, the Dow Bar Mutual Fund Award, that we've had that for over 20 years in a row because our investments are primarily from a mutual fund perspective and platform. Bloomberg Gender Equality, Most Trusted Life, Most Trusted Financial, guys. Like there's an entire website dedicated just to the awards for the company. It's huge. Long story short, right? It's a great company and it's a great company to work for. It's a great company to represent, especially if you like kind of look at the cameras right now, like the predominant agents that are in the business these days are female, right? And right now, out of those 160,000 licensed agents, 92,000 roughly of them are women. Ever since we went remote, guys, after COVID, a lot of brokerages stayed there. And ever since that opportunity happened, right? Stay home, make some extra money, do it around kids' schedules. Who generally wants to do that? It's moms. It's moms. And so I don't really ever see us going back to like a male-dominated sales force. But look at all of the things that we do. Guys, Primerica is the only company that I know of that can touch all three of the financial pillars that are all each separately $1 trillion a year industries, right? Life insurance is kind of a big deal. It's the one thing with our name on it. But we also do investments. Those are the two big pieces of what we do. Thirdly, right, we do mortgages. Rocket Mortgage is our partner in that, primarily Spring EQ does some of the wholesale stuff, but primarily it's through Rocket Mortgage. So our agents that come into the business, they can get licensed for life insurance, they can get licensed for investments, they can get licensed for mortgage loan origination if that's something that they really wanted to. But on top of that, we have ways to do home, auto, and small business insurance as well. You don't need a license for that at all. Our people can get protected with identity theft products, sort of like a LifeLock, right? But a little bit better. And then Legal Shield handles all of the estate planning type documents that somebody would need. Wills, power of attorney, trust type documents, right? All of that's there. And then the last piece is Vivint, sort of like ADT, but better. And the nice thing about all of this, guys, these are all ways for agents to get paid. It's ways for clients to get help, and it's ways for our agents to get paid. I mean, think about it. If you were fully licensed, meaning you could do life, investments, and like a mortgage for somebody, you could literally sit down with one client and make thousands of dollars. It's crazy. You get them protected with life insurance. You get them, maybe you refinance their mortgage or get them a mortgage on a home they're buying and roll over their investments and get them started on some new ones. Guys, you never know. Like literally one client could be worth thousands of dollars, right? And that's on the high end. On the low end, you just help them with some life insurance, maybe make an extra few hundred, a few thousand, who knows, right? Because you could make a few thousand on a life insurance policy as well. The big takeaway from this, though, guys, is it says Primerica in the middle, but you are really the access point, right? Because if anybody needs any of these things and they're coming to you to do it, right, you're going to be the one to help them with that. And so that's really kind of the way to think about it. Like you're the access point for all of these things for all of your people. Okay. What do we really do, guys? Like the mission for the company is really to help families get properly protected. We want people to have the right amount of life insurance for wherever they're at in their current stage of life. I mean, think about it. If somebody's like 85 or 90 and their kids are grown, their home is paid off, like they're living on a fixed income, most likely living off of their actual like retirement, well, they don't really need life insurance. We don't need to replace an income. We don't need to protect children, right? Those things are taken care of. And so if we sat down with one of those clients, we would kind of just look at their investments and make sure that they're situated to not outlive their money. That's where we would focus on that, right? And make sure nobody's taking advantage of them. But for younger clients, right? Like most of you, like most of the clients we're going to sit down with are probably in their, late 20s, early 30s for the most part. And we want them to have proper protection because they probably have kids, they're probably on their first mortgage, right? They need to start investing because if they don't start investing now, by the time they retire, they won't have it. We need to teach them how to become debt free. And if they don't know, we need to show them what that looks like, build them a plan. And then if they're open to it and they want to hop on, right? They can do the exact same thing as we're doing. Anybody can get a license and do this, make an extra few $100 a month. If that's all they need, then that's available, right? The biggest thing is we really, really teach people how to take control of their finances, help them make better decisions, right? How many people do you know right now that are just winging it? Like day by day, they don't really know what they're doing. They probably like the last like training that they had in personal finance was some like econ class in high school. And even then, if they got that, they weren't paying attention or they didn't know what they were getting at the time, right? Well, that's where we come in. We want to teach people how money works. We wrote a little book. It's like 40 something, like 44 pages, and most of it's pictures because it's really, really simple. But the problem is we don't teach it in schools anymore. And if we're not teaching it in schools, kids are growing up and getting into their adult years and they just don't know what's going on. So this is really where we come in, right? Think about everybody that you know, like within your immediate circle. Oh, let me go back. Most people today, right? This applies, I would say, to most people that I meet. They're not getting an education in money and finance. We already touched on that. They don't really have a plan for their future, and they don't have someone that they could reach out to from like a financial professional standpoint. Even if they know somebody, right? They probably, and Jen and I had this conversation earlier about a client yesterday. She went in, she has some money, but she felt snubbed because she went into one of the big guys and she walked away feeling like I'm never coming back because they don't take me seriously. I wasn't a big enough client for them, right? So even if people know a financial professional, most of the time they don't feel like worthy to go into that person because they don't have a big enough account. Guys, you know the smallest account that I can open for anybody on a retirement planning standpoint is with $25 and $25 a month. Primerica was built to bring financial services to the middle income people, right? Middle income America, because that entire market generally gets left behind, but they still need to plan. They still need to retire someday. But if they're not sitting on several hundred thousand or millions of dollars, right? Most financial professionals are not coming to help them. All of these problems result in a serious challenge for Main Street families because they don't know where to go. They don't know who to talk to. They don't know where to get started. And on top of all that, they think if they do need to get started, they need to have a ton of money and then it's going to be really, really expensive for them. Sound familiar? I mean, that's really kind of where most people are at. Here's some just like stats for you, right? We're going to talk about some investments, some life insurance stuff. 60% of Americans with less than 50 grand towards retirement. And that this is sort of like age agnostic, right? It doesn't care, it doesn't really matter how old you are. But if you're 20 and you have less than 50 grand, that's probably okay. But if you're like 55 and have less than 50 grand, that's a problem, right? 36% only have 10 grand or less put away, like saved for retirement. More than 60%, guys. That means 6 out of 10 people that you would meet anywhere are literally worried about running out of money in retirement. Think about that. I mean, especially like retirement age, this is probably some of our, our older parents, maybe if you have grandparents that are kind of in that age range. How many of them right now, if you ask them if they're going to retire, they're going to say, no, I have to work till I die. We don't want that for people. We don't want that for people, right? But we can change that. We can change that. But in order to change it, we have to get in front of people, help educate them, and in reality, get some of the younger generation starting early. Starting early. Here's a scary one, right? So protection aspect, this is life insurance. Almost half of everyone that you meet has no life insurance. You know what like the modern day life insurance plan is for most people? It's a GoFundMe and a prayer. That's crazy. Guys, most people that I meet today think from like a life insurance perspective, they think about it as like a way to just bury you. Absolutely not. Life insurance, the most important, the number one aspect of that is replacing income for the primary income for the household. That is 100% the most important thing. And if we're not showing people what that looks like, showing them that they can get it done really cheaply for the most part, they're just going to go on keeping thinking that it's too expensive and not having any coverage. I mean, look at this. More than 4 in 10, right? So that's where this 48% comes from. Either don't have any life insurance at all or don't have enough. To me, that sounds like a great opportunity for someone with a life insurance license and a willingness to speak to somebody to get in and help people and make a ton of money doing it. It's real, guys. It's real. Here's a scary one, right? Average American has over $100,000 in consumer debt. I would argue that the number is actually higher. This is from a couple of years ago, right? So this is from 2023. I would argue that this number is actually higher when you bring in mortgages, vehicles, student debt, right? Credit cards and all that kind of stuff. 61% of Americans with credit card debt, almost 25% of those go in deeper every month, right? Because you start getting buried under that snowball of compound interest. Well, just like the compound interest can work for you on the investment side, it can hurt you really, really bad on the debt side. How would it make you feel, guys, to be able to help not only yourself figure this stuff out, but help other people get out of this as well and never get back into that cycle? I mean, for me, that was also like outside of having the control over my schedule and a great income, being able to teach this stuff really sort of like filled my bucket, right? It was a big thing for me in terms of like, hey, I just like getting in front of people. I love teaching. I truly do. And honestly, one of the most fun things that I get to do is get in front of a really, really young client, show them about investing, help them start early, and show them what that projection of that number is going to look like, that financial independence number, 40, 50 years from now, if they just keep doing it and keep sticking to the basics. That's the fun part for me, right? Here's another scary one. Almost over half, right? 57% of Americans would have trouble putting $1,000 together for an emergency. Not $1,000 available on a credit card, like $1,000 in cash in an emergency. And almost 60% of people are living paycheck to paycheck. That paycheck to paycheck thing, guys, that's real for people. And so like if you sit down with someone and you are showing them a way to, invest and save more money and they go, "Yeah, that's great, but I can't." Right? There's no way I could do that. I'd love to, but I can't. And I'd say, "Great. Well, if you could come over here, get a license, help people, show them exactly what I'm showing you now, and you could make that extra couple $100 a month, it'd be a whole lot easier to hit that target, wouldn't it?" And what do you think they say? Yeah, right. If you have a way to make extra money and you need extra money, there you go, right? It's a way to find a need, fill it, and that's how you make money in business, guys. That's how you make money in business. Here it is, right? You find the need and you fill it and you'll make money. Clearly, and then help me out in the Zoom chat. Is there a need for what we do? Educating families on money and finance, educating people about different financial products that are out there, helping them just see and have an idea, even if they end up not being a client at all, people will still walk away with a better understanding of their personal finance by having sat down with someone in the business, right? Clearly, these concepts can help everybody. And I mean, in reality, if you think about it, you provide a great service. Everything you do for the client is free. Any reason why it's hard to see why clients love us, right? And I tell you, it's a major fact too, right here, like why the competition, right? Some of those big guys, the guys that advertise, right, have the huge buildings downtown with their names on them. It's a big reason they don't like us because we can come in and do what they charge massive premiums for, and we do it for free. The only thing the client ever pays for is the thing that they're getting. And the great thing is you can still make great money doing that. Okay. So a big thing that holds people back a lot when they look at something like this is they say, I mean, I don't know. I've just never wanted to be in business for myself. I don't know how to do that. Well, I mean, that's fair, right? I had never thought about being in business for myself either. But I tell you what, it's really hard to beat when you have no boss, nobody is setting a schedule, nobody has their thumb on you, and nobody can tell you what to do. Because here's a different way to look at it, right? There's four ways to earn income in reality. Most people live in this upper left quadrant for their entire life, right? You have a job, you show up, you have either a salary, and it doesn't matter how many hours you work, and you get paid like me when I was in the army, right? It didn't matter if I worked 24 hours a day or I worked zero. I got paid the exact same. Your income is based on your position, not how good you are, right? That's the army. And has anybody ever been like a manager somewhere before? You're on a salaried position, you're on a salaried paycheck. Could you ever make more money? If you worked more hours, could you ever make more money? No, because it's fixed, right? You're on a salary. That's the whole point. Well, most people will move from this type of job in like a W-2 position, salaried position, or even hourly, right? Even hourly, they'll move down here. You become self-employed, you own a job, right? But look at that. I mean, doctors, dentists, lawyers, hairstylists, realtors, right? You basically just own your job. You're self-employed, you own your job. You're still limited because it's still based on whatever you can do. Now, you might have a higher output potential, right? You might be able to earn way more money. But if you stop, does the income stop or does the income keep coming? Yeah, you stop, right? We call this side of the chart, that side of the quadrant, your income is 100% off of one. Because if you stop, everything stops, right? Where you really want to focus is getting into this business side of things where you own a system. How many of you guys know somebody that owns a business where they have employees, the employees work, the employees are happy, the business is making money, the owner is happy, right? Most of us could point to someone that we know that runs a business and that kind of falls into that system. Now, over here, right now, the business, somebody owns the system. There's unlimited income potential now, if you want to increase income, you just scale, you grow. Well, think about it like this. Now, right? I started as an agent, right? I left my job over here. I started as an agent. Now I own a business. So if I own a business over here, think about it, guys. Do I just want one agent working with me in the business, or do I want like hundreds, maybe thousands, all of them, right? I want hundreds, if not thousands of licensed agents working in the business with me because at that point, now you're looking at income potential that's 1% off of maybe 100, right? Because remember, the brokerage model is still applies. And the beauty of it is my job is to teach any of you how to become a broker, right? Primerica literally incentivizes you and me to promote you to regional vice president. Like that's the job, right? If that's something that you want, that's the job. And then part of being the investor is when your money's working for you, right? Warren Buffett said it best. If you don't make money while you'll sleep, you're going to work until you die. And so that's kind of the mindset that I want everyone to kind of get to. You want your money in the market. You want your money invested and working for you, growing and compounding. But let's think about this, right? Where do you think most people land on this chart? Upper left or upper right? Probably upper left, right? Most people have a job, it's comfortable, they show up, they get paid. But do you think they're really happy? Or do most people that you know wake up on Monday morning angry at the world, sitting in traffic, hating their life, driving to a job that they despise, and then they come home on Friday night just to realize that they've only got about 36 hours before they got to start getting ready to do it all over again? That's most people. That's most people. But like if if you had a choice, if you could choose, which one would you choose? I mean, I know for sure I wouldn't be over here, and I still don't want to be 100% off of one. I would want to be up here personally. I would want to be up here with the money working. That's me personally. So I mean, for you guys, like just think about it. Think about it. I would not want to be in a position where I was told how much money I could make. At a minimum, I would want to be in a position where I could make as much as I wanted, right? And that's the beauty of a sales position in reality. So when we start thinking about like 1% off of 100, right? Another way to think about this model is real estate. And people understand real estate, right? Like most people know realtors, they know real estate agents. And what it really comes down to is, you know somebody who sells houses. Are they the broker or are they the agent, right? Because the broker owns the brokerage. Same question, right? Does that broker that owns the real estate brokerage just want himself or herself and one other realtor? Or does the broker want hundreds of agents working inside the brokerage? Maybe each of them sell a house, right? Think about it. If you owned a brokerage with 100 real estate agents and even just half of them sold one house in a month, how many houses did the brokerage sell? 50. If you were just a single agent, there's no way you could do 50 alone in a single month. I mean, maybe. back like right after COVID when houses didn't even last like 2 minutes on the market, maybe. But in reality, probably not. You could always do more with more people that can do the same thing, right? Guys, that's the idea. Let me teach you the business. Let me show you what this looks like, right? Because at the end, my job, if you want it, right, is to help you become the broker, is really what it looks like. Okay. And from like a barrier perspective, right? Most people don't go into business for themselves because like think about if you wanted to like franchise a McDonald's or a Chick-fil-A or something. Does anybody know how much like capital, like how much cash you would need to start your own Chick-fil-A if they would give you one or your own McDonald's? Just take a wild guess. 100 million webs, that's a little extreme, right? On average is somewhere between a half a million and 2 million, right? I don't know a whole lot of people with an extra half a million to $2 million in cash sitting around like available, right? So that's what keeps most people out of business. Most people are working their job. They don't have the time to fully transition into something else, especially when they're trying to transition to something else and lack the knowledge, right? And when you start combining these three together, what does that amount to? Well, it amounts to too much risk. It's too risky, right? Like if you don't know what you're doing and you don't have the time to do it, but you got to put up a couple $1 million to figure it out, that's risky business, right? And then sort of cap it all off is, well, it's too much risk, so you fear failure. So that fear is what actually keeps people out. But in this business, guys, we remove all of that, right? There's no massive investment to getting started. It's 124 bucks and it covers your license and it covers your investment licenses and it covers everything you need to run the business, right? You can start part-time or spare time. Guys, we have people that are silent partners, right? You just wanted to get a license, get the education and money and finance for yourself and kind of put your own financial house in order and make an extra couple $100 by sending one of us a client every now and then. That's literally a silent partner, right? And then lack the knowledge? No way. This company's been in business almost 50 years. Guys, in July of 27, when we go back to convention, it will be for the 50th anniversary of the company. That's half a century that this company has been around. And by the time we go back, right, we're looking at almost 17, it'll be 17, almost 18 years in business publicly as our own company, publicly traded, right? That's crazy. So there is definitely no lack of knowledge because the other piece right here is like you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. You will never be alone in this business if you ask for help. You won't be, right? There's too much risk. There's too much risk in what? Coming in and getting some education and getting licenses that are yours forever. Guys, if you came in, got licensed, and decided that you hated being your own boss and you wanted someone to tell you where to be and what to do and what to wear, you could go work for, State Farm, go put on your red polo shirt and show up to your cubicle and take your licenses with you. They'll take you, right? There's no risk, right? There's no risk. And here's the last piece, right? Fear of failure. For what? The only way you can fail is if you quit, literally. Because worst case scenario, you get an education in money and finance, you get licenses that are yours forever, and you only make a little bit of money. That's literally the worst case. So what is there really to lose? Nothing, right? There's really nothing to lose. Because here's what the 124 does. Look, the 99 is one time. Pay it once, you never pay it again. It covers all of your state application fee, all of your exam fees, processing, appointment, fingerprinting, everything. If you were going to go out and get life insurance licensed on your own, because that's your first license, if you were going to go get life license on your own, guys, it would cost you somewhere between $350 and $500 in reality, right? And then the $25 POL fee, right? What does it do? Well, it's basically your support system. You have nonstop access on POL, unlimited training. You have the entire back office support from home office. Your direct deposit is set up, all your payroll is done for you. Guys, like I'm a regional vice president. I don't do any payroll. You guys realize that? I don't have to do any payroll. Primerica does that for me. They pay you guys directly, right? Everyone's a 1099. I don't have to issue you a 1099. I only issue one person a 1099, and it's Traylon, because she's our office manager. Because she works for me personally. She doesn't work for Primerica, right? The rest of you guys, payroll's hand. I don't have to deal with that. Taxes, yeah, I deal with mine. I don't have to deal with yours, right? Guys, it is an amazing system that sets you up to be successful because you're supported at literally every level, right? Oh, by the way, right, your securities exams and your securities licensing stuff is all covered, right? We give you the curriculum. You get life license. The next thing you want to do is get your investment license. We give it to you. We give it to you. So SIE, Series 6, 63, 26, 65. There's five different investment licenses that you can get. Well, exams that you can work your way through to get different licenses while you're here in the business. That's crazy. And we just give you the curriculum. It's unreal, guys. It's literally unreal. So listen, that's the end of just kind of like the business overview side of things. If you're brand new, you have other questions, do me a favor, text Atlas to 810-444-3401. That's my personal cell phone number. I will reach back out to you later tonight or tomorrow, and we'll kind of continue a conversation. If you scan that QR code, it'll bring in my entire contact card to your phone, so it makes life pretty simple. But guys, any questions before we kind of let everybody go? I'll leave this QR code up here for another second, just in case. No questions? You can put them in the chat, or you can unmute yourself. There's only like 20 of us. It's fine. All right, well, let me stop this screen share. So listen, guys, this was a new sort of way of kind of giving just a real quick business overview of things, right? While we're still here, what I'd like to do is for real, like answer any actual questions that you have, but two, kind of just go like one level deeper, right? One level deeper. When you think about what you would want to do in this business or why you came, right? Why you got started in the first place. Most people look at it and they say, well, I wanted to make some extra money and I wanted to get a license. I wanted to get some extra education in money and finance, right? Because like outside of people that have been here for a little while, I mean, Madison, I can see you on the screen and I know you're new because we talked earlier today. Like, do you have a formal background in money and finance? I mean, I know you've worked in mortgage stuff a little bit in the past, but like personal finance, what would you say? I think she's typing. She's trying to figure it out. It's all right. You can just unmute yourself. It's totally fine. I won't put you on the spot like that. I mean, in reality, the answer is probably no or probably limited, right? And so, guys, I mean, I've said it several times, but when you think about it, if the worst thing that happens to somebody by bringing them into the business and exposing them to Primerica, if the worst thing that happens is we teach them about their personal finance. We look at their life insurance and kind of figure out what that looks like. We look at their investments, right? Like most people have investments, right? 401ks all over the place. I was watching a training with Home Office earlier today on investing stuff like passive income. One of the brokers said that like the worst client she had ever had in terms of money being in too many places had 28 different retirement accounts when they met. 28 different retirement accounts between the spouses. Think about it. How many times do most people change jobs, right? Every couple of years. And well, for most people, every time you do that, that's a 401k here, another one here, another one here. If you meet somebody in their mid 40s and they've worked in 10 different jobs, it's totally possible, right? It's totally possible. 28 different retirement accounts between the spouses. It took them almost 18 months to get everything resolved and consolidated. How much easier do you think it would have been if somebody had just told them along the way, hey, when you leave that job, either roll it into your personal IRA or roll it into your next 401k? In reality, guys, the best investment advice I can ever give you in that regard is when you get to a new job, if they offer you a 401k, take it, invest up to the match and stop. Make sure you're maxing out your personal Roth IRA on the side. And when you leave that job, roll that old 401k into your personal IRA and never look back and just keep doing it, right? Keep doing it. Because rolling it from 401k to 401k to 401k, usually there's a lot of fees. Usually the HR person is not very good. They don't know what they're doing. Let me help. But think about it. If I sit in front of somebody and I can say, look, hey, if I could get all of you, if I get all that money back under your control, get you back in control of all that money, wouldn't it make sense? What do you think they say? Yeah, of course, right? Or most of the time, what actually happens is people say, well, yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure I had a 401k here, there, everywhere, right? Like a Dr. Seuss book. And they didn't know that it's still their money. They were like, yeah, I just thought it was gone. I thought it was gone. Take a guess, like an actual number of how much money is out there in, we'll call it like orphan 401k money, orphan retirement funds. Take a guess, put a number on it. Go ham, right? Like it's a big one. I promise it. It's a big one. $10,000, M, or like 10,000 millions? 1 trillion's pretty close. Oh, for you, 10 grand. Okay. So that's a great example, right? Just one person on the call has got an extra 10 grand sitting around. How many people are in the country? 400 million? Take the kids out and the people that are already sort of retired, maybe 200 million. There you go. That's the number. It's about 2 trillion. About $2 trillion with a T, trillion, is sitting around orphan right now. It's your money. It's their money. It's got their name, birthday, social attached to it, and an account number, but nobody's doing anything with it. It's just sitting. It's literally just sitting. Think with a T. That's crazy. Think about it. Even if we were like, as an investment licensed person, if I was even able to just find 1% of that money to roll over for somebody, for clients, think about that. 1% of a trillion. How much is that? 1% of a trillion. Well, let's see. A million is a thousand thousands. A billion is a thousand millions. A trillion is a thousand billions. Thousand billions. It's 100. Think about that. 1,000 billions. It's way more than a million, Jen. Way more than a million. 1% of that orphan money. That's insane, guys. That's insane. The numbers are astronomical. Like they're so big it makes your brain hurt. But
Almost every person that I brought in of my friends to sit down with you, I think out of all those people, I would say eight of those people admitted they had more 401ks out there than they had ever collected back. I mean, every single person almost. And
yeah,
if they only did that after that meeting,
I
you
know.
know,
Well, and that's why I say, look, guys, the most important thing we can ever do in this business is just play in traffic. It's just have a conversation and just talk to people. Because at the end of the day, like I'm sort of agnostic whether somebody wants to do the business or not. But if I get in front of somebody, there's a high probability that as long as they're open to listening, I can help. We can help, right? And here's the great thing. Like if you're not investment licensed and you get in front of somebody, great. Take care of their life insurance, do all of the other things, and then put them on my calendar, do the investments, come to the appointment, learn the process, learn the verbiage, learn that along the way. And then by the time you go take your exam, you're going to pass and then you're going to have clients. And we put all of those assets and those clients right back under you. You start your investment career with assets under management. It's amazing, right? But guys, that's the biggest thing I wanted to kind of like show everybody tonight is just like a different perspective, a different angle of the company, of the business, and like help me, right? Text me, let me know what you think we could have done a little differently, a little better, and just let me know because by the next time that we do this, I want this to feel more like a true opportunity night, right? I want everyone to leave tonight and think about coming back next week or the next time that we do this, because it probably won't be next week. Give it like 2 weeks, and bring two, three brand new people that have never seen this before, that maybe have been on the fence, and you're like, hey, just come listen. If you don't like it, I'll never bug you again. Fair? That's all you need to say, right? That's all you need to say. And so I appreciate it, guys. I'll keep refining this. I'll keep making it better, and we'll go from there. But um, let me know what you think. But I'm gonna cut this one off. I'm gonna let you guys go a little bit early tonight. And I'll see you tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Have a good night, guys. Bye.